Well, hey there, folks. I'm meteorologist Matt Barrentine, getting things set up here in the Fox 10 Weather Center. And about to go over Tropical Depression number 18 as I'm getting everything cranked up here. Once again, hey folks, meteorologist Matt Barrentine. I wanted to go and give you an update here coming up on 8:30 because we got World Series tonight on Fox. So it'll be a little late, probably after 10 until we come on this evening. So if you're going to head to bed before that point, figure go and give you an update on what we're looking at out there in the tropics. Of course, talking about this. This is Tropical Depression number 18. This will eventually get the name Zeta. This is the Caribbean, obviously. That's Cuba here. That's Cozumel, the Cancun Peninsula of Mexico. And it's right out here. Keep in mind, I know for us, it's fallish. It's kind of warm today. I take the kids. It's one of the most favorite areas for tropical development because it's still very, very warm down there. All right, so now that everybody's joining, let me get into all this here for you. Once again, as you know, we're in the extra innings here this year. Zeta is just about to pop up on the board. I think sometime tomorrow that'll grow into Zeta. So we'll have the 27th named storm. 28 was what we got in 2005 for the record, so we are getting right up to that number. Here are the latest on what is now Tropical Depression 28, what will become Zeta. Winds are 30 miles per hour. I mean, obviously, it's just a tropical depression at this point. The key thing to look at here is this movement. Right now, it's only moving 2 miles an hour. So what's going to happen over the next couple of days, this thing's going to be slowly developing. Then all of a sudden, it's going to move real fast and head close to our way, or maybe even right towards our way. So this is going to be something that seems to be kind of going slow. Then all of a sudden, it's just going to speed up like that. We're going to have to be dealing with it. So here is the track of what is now Tropical Depression number 28 that will become Zeta here as it moves off to the north and west. And here's the thing. This is the National Hurricane Center track. Each of these little lines represents 12 hours. So you see in the first part of this track, it's moving slow, moving slow, moving slow. Then it really starts accelerating. Once it gets to the southern Gulf, it gets picked up by a cold front, and then it gets dragged to the north and dragged up to the north and east. And that's going to really start to accelerate it. Also, what I want you to look at here from the National Hurricane Center is the strength of this. Warm waters here eventually gets it to Category 1 hurricane strength. That's the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, is to get to Category 1 strength. But then as it gets picked up by this front, it's going to start getting pulled apart like taffy. It's going to be getting stretched out, and that's going to weaken the storm. So as it's coming in, it's likely to be weakening. Very good bet that it will be weakening as it comes in. So how strong it gets right here will have obviously a big impact on how strong it'll still be before it makes landfall. When is it going to make landfall? Wednesday. Sometime Wednesday. I'll show you a couple models. The timing is a little bit different, but they still say Wednesday. The center part of the track, I know that's where everybody wants to focus. Basically, it's in South Louisiana. Where have we seen that before, right? Like 4 times this year. But you can still see that our area is still in this cone. We're not out of this. And it goes all the way over to the west towards Lake Charles. So at this point, it's a pretty wide cone, which is what you would expect 5 days out, okay? There's going to be a wide spread here at this point. And keep in mind, the hurricane hunters haven't been able to fly down there just yet. They'll be getting down there soon. And once they do, they'll give us a better fix of it, and we'll start getting some better data in as well into the models. All right, so what is this system going to find as it gets up into the northern Gulf? Well, this is the upper level winds on Wednesday. So I've got this thing fast forwarded out to Wednesday. And look at this. This is a front that's going to be tracking across the southeast, drawing very strong winds out of the southwest right where the storm is going to go. So like I said, it's going to pull it apart like taffy. This is what's not going to allow this thing to be strengthening as it comes in for landfall. It will be weakening. It's just a matter of how much it was able to pick up before it gets into all this. And this is also what's going to accelerate it. Like I said, right now it's moving 2 miles an hour. This thing's going to be rocketing along here, probably going about 20, 25 miles an hour by the time it gets to the northern Gulf Coast. It's going to be moving along very quickly. All right, so let's look at a couple of models. Our 2 main models. Here's what they show. This is the European model. This is tonight, going into tomorrow, going into Monday. And just off of Cozumel, showing a pretty stout storm. The European shows this being a stronger system than the American model, which I'm going to show you in a second. That's some of the major differences here. And the timing's a little bit, well, it's different. Tuesday noon, just off the coast of Cozumel. And this is about the time it's going to be getting picked up. There's the front. I mean, look at this. There's an ice storm going on in northern Texas. Snow. Okay, that's the front. That front's going to be rolling on through, grabbing this and taking it off to the north and the northeast. So where does it end up going? Well, it continues to work its way west and then gets grabbed by that front. This model, keep in mind this is one model, makes it to landfall somewhere Wednesday night in Louisiana, central Louisiana. Keep in mind, once this thing starts getting pulled apart by this front, these winds will start stretching out all the way to the east. So we're still to get, in this kind of a scenario, we'd still get some very strong gusty winds along the coastline. And certainly we get some strong heavy downpours as well. The surface is going to be awfully rough, rip currents and all that. Thursday takes off to the northeast, and we have a few more showers left over Thursday morning, and that starts to clear out fairly quickly. That was the European model. Now let's go through the American model, the GFS. So we go from Saturday, let's go all the way, let's go to Wednesday, or Tuesday morning, off the coast of Cozumel there. Continues to the north there, Tuesday at lunchtime. And look, once again, there is that front over Texas. Tuesday at noon, down here. So the GFS is also showing, the American model is showing it to be a weaker system. And then here comes that front, starts to pick it up, grab it, and move it northward. That's Tuesday at 11 p.m. Okay, so here's a big difference. The timing. The European model had it coming in late Wednesday night. The GFS, the American model, has it coming in Wednesday morning. So this one accelerates it even faster. It has it looking very ragged by the time it makes landfall because it's really getting pulled apart. And look how strong it has the cold front. Regardless, it would have similar conditions for us. When we talk about very gusty winds, heavy rains, and that sort of thing with the system getting dragged on through. I mean, it'd be a really nasty Wednesday afternoon for us, but very, very quick moving. Just in and out. It's going to be through. And then by Thursday morning, you wake up, sky's clearing out, cool air rushing in behind us, cool fall air comes rushing in behind them. In fact, we could wake up Friday morning to temperatures in the upper 30s in spots, okay? It's going to be that much of a change behind this thing, okay? So rapidly pulling in cooler, drier air behind this system. So two models, the European and the American. The European's a little slower, a little stronger. The American's a little faster, a little weaker. That's the difference. Both have a landfall sometime on Wednesday. Both have us getting about the same kind of deal, which is gusty winds, especially on the coastline, a lot of rain, in this whole thing moving through fairly quickly. So when I talk about all this stuff, I know I get so many comments on all this about exactly when is it going to make landfall, exactly where. Well, let me tell you what we have with high confidence and what's low confidence, okay? High confidence that this thing is going to be strengthening as it gets into the southern Gulf. At least an upper wind tropical storm, maybe even a hurricane. Too early to know the exact intensity at landfall, though, because like I said, it's going to be getting pulled apart like taffy as it gets into the northern Gulf. So that's going to weaken it for sure, but just how much, I don't know. Nobody else does at this point exactly. It's going to make a landfall on the northern Gulf Coast as it's absorbed into that front. Now, exactly where on the northern Gulf Coast, it's just too early to know at this point. But it's not like it's going to just pick up itself and go over to Tampa, or it's going to go over to Brownsville, Texas, okay? It's coming to the northern Gulf Coast. We're getting it some level. What we're likely to see are things like heavy downpours, gusty winds, rip currents. Those are very likely. Too early to know the exact level of all those impacts. I know folks on the right side of a tropical system, yes, there is a possibility of tornadoes too, but it's a lower possibility than these things. So that's what we know. Let me go and show you the extended forecast real quick. So I have to kind of lean forward to see my computer monitor over here. All right, I'm going to just go ahead and give you a view of this so you can kind of get your head around what you might be dealing with. So we'll probably start getting some rain on Tuesday, particularly by Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday night. But obviously the worst of it's likely to come in on Wednesday. And I still have a good chance of rain on Thursday. but it may end before we even get to sunrise on Thursday, just depending on the timing, which of those models is right. It may be almost pretty much done by the time we get up and get going to work and stuff. And then that cold front comes rushing in, skies clear out real quick, and things turn really nice. It's going to be really nice for Halloween weekend coming up. We just got to get through these. So Wednesday is going to be the roughest day, one way or the other. How rough exactly, I don't think it's going to be too major for us, but it's something we're going to have to deal with. I mean, it's going to be some nasty rain, most likely, some heavy rains at times. And just something none of us really want to deal with, that's for sure. We don't want but it's 2020, You got to keep things rolling through 2020, I guess. It just keeps happening. So once again, we're looking at, let me get back to the very first part so you can see. This is what's going to become Zeta. I'm saying what's going to become Zeta because, they could update this at any moment. I need to check to see their flight logs, see when they get down there with the hurricane hunter. So usually what happens, they get down there with the hurricane hunter and they go, yep, it's a tropical storm. So this is 28 for now. It'll become Zeta. Barely moving at this point at 2 miles an hour, but it will pick up speed. What's going to happen, I've mentioned this several times, I've been talking, once it gets here into the southern Gulf, there's going to be a cold front coming down. That cold front's going to grab this thing and draw it up to the north and northeast. And that's eventually going to bring it up into somewhere near us. There's still, on the hurricane center, it goes from Panama City to Lake Charles. So it's a pretty widespread, but that is expected this far out. That will narrow in the coming days, obviously. We'll see a better idea of exactly where it's going to go. So, how it goes. I know everybody asked me about plans, asked me about school closings. That stuff's going to be several days down the line. We're going to have a couple of days to watch it. Tonight's Saturday, so Sunday. Then Monday it'll still be here. It won't be into the Monday, I should say around lunchtime. It'll probably be late Monday night until it enters the Gulf. And that's when we're going to have to start making some plans because that's when it's going to start accelerating. You'll see it picking up speed really quick. And by sometime on Wednesday, it's moving on in. So we'll basically have about 2 days to prepare once we have a better idea of exactly where it's going to go. So stay tuned to Fox 10. We'll definitely be keeping you updated. I'll be on tonight after the baseball game. Maybe they'll upgrade to Zeta by that point. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I would guess sometime tomorrow for sure this thing becomes Zeta. So the 27th named storm of the year. So join us tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll look at all the forecasts, the new models, and all that stuff. If you can't join tonight, got to get some sleep. I get it. Join us tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. here on Fox 10. I'll have your forecast for you. And, of course, Sunday night we'll be on at 9 o'clock, maybe. I don't know. Is it World Series again tomorrow night? Probably. If it's World Series tomorrow night, I'll be on after World Series. I don't know. I'll find out. Y'all have a good one. I will catch y'all later. Bye now.